Good morning, all of you. Am I audible for you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So in the last class, we were discussing about the biasing techniques of MOSFET. Let us have that list of biasing techniques. Yes, we have four types of biasing. One is biasing by fixing VGS. Second one was biasing by fixing VG and connecting a resistance in the source. And we compared the two techniques. Even though the first technique was a
Honey,
most straightforward approach, but still it is having its own drawback. The thing is, the Q point may shift. Okay, the Q point may shift from the feasible region, that is a saturation region, to the triode region because of the variations in the temperature or because of the device replacement and all those factors. So the first technique we will not be using in most of the applications. Why? Because it will result in the Q point shifting or instability in the Q point or the quiescent point. Okay. Whereas when you take the second type of biasing technique, there we are having a resistance that is connecting in the source. And also we are trying to fix the gate voltage by using the potential divider network. Okay. So after connecting a source resistance in the source terminal, it will act as a degeneration resistance. The degeneration resistance means even though because of some reasons the drain current is trying to increase or decrease, but the action of that source resistance will not permit the drain current to change. Okay. Suppose if the drain current is trying to increase because of some reasons, the source resistance will pull that current back to the original value. That means the drain current is keeping its constancy. Okay. Because of which the Q point is stable. It is fixed at its point, that is in its feasible region. Which is a feasible region? Saturation region. So that was the advantage of the second technique over the first one. In the first technique, we are not using any source resistance. As you can see from this figure, the source is directly grounded. Whereas the second technique, we are connecting a source resistance between the source and the ground, and this will help in the degeneration action or the negative feedback action. And I already explained you what is a degeneration action. That is, even though ID tries to increase because of some reasons, when ID increases, what will happen? IDRS increases. When IDRS increases, VGS has to decrease in order to maintain a constant VG. When VGS decreases, what will happen? The gate voltage is becoming less positive or more negative, because of which again the drain current will start decreasing. This is what is called the degeneration action. So that the resistance is called as degeneration resistance. And also we have plotted this graph and we found the slope. How we found the slope? By making use of the straight line equation. That is, we have applied the KVL and we got this particular equation, VG equal to VGS plus IDRS. Then we have rearranged this equation in the format of Y is equal to MX plus C, and we got this equation. Comparing the standard equation, we got the slope as minus 1 by RS. Okay. So this indicates that when RS increases, the slope decreases. When RS increases, what will happen? The slope decreases or the DC load line will become less steep. When the DC load line becomes less steep, then it is understood that the variation between ID1 and ID2 is very less. What is ID1 and ID2? These are the two distinct currents through the MOSFET. Okay. Because of the device replacement or because of the change in temperature, we are having two cases. One case is with the current ID1 and the second case is with respect to current ID2. So this indicates that if the slope is very less or if RS is very large, the variation or the difference between ID1 and ID2 is very less, which means that the Q point is stable or there is no change in the Q point. So this is what is the conclusion that we had in the second type of biasing technique. What is second type of biasing? Fixing a VG and connecting a source resistance at the source. And if we want to realize the circuit more practically, then we had gone with this particular circuit. That is, I have connected a potential divider network comprising of two resistances RG1 and RG2, which will fix the gate voltage VG. Okay, in the previous diagram, just I have shown VG in the gate terminal, but how we are going to fix that VG? By using the potential divider network comprising of the two resistances RG1 and RG2. Is that clear for you? Then more practical approach, that is, we will be giving a signal source V signal, which will be very weak, and this is to be amplified. Okay. So in between the signal source and the gate terminal, we will connect a capacitance, which is called as a coupling capacitor CC1. And why you require coupling capacitor CC1, that also I have discussed in the last class. That is to ensure the blocking of DC and passing of AC. Why you want to block DC? Why you want to block DC? Because the signal will have, input signal will have some unwanted DC components which you need to block. Okay, if it is not blocking, means this DC voltage or the DC current will come into this gate terminal and it will disturb the bias voltage or bias current, whatever you have done previously by using RG1, RG2 and RS. By using RG1, RG2 and RS, we have fixed a proper voltage VG, isn't it? But that voltage VG will get disturbed by this unwanted DC coming from your input AC signal, V signal. So that DC has to be blocked, and we need to ensure only pure AC come into this gate terminal. So AC has to be passed and DC has to be blocked. For this, we need a coupling capacitor CC1 connecting between the signal resistance and the gate terminal. So this is a most practical approach of biasing, that is by fixing VG and connecting a resistance in the source. The previous diagram was a symbol diagram, whatever I have shown in the last class. This was a symbol diagram, but to make it realizable, I need to have a potential divider network having RG1, RG2. Apart from that, I need to connect a signal source, which is to be amplified. So for that, I have to connect a coupling capacitor CC1 also, along with the signal resistance RSIC. I hope it is clear for you. Any doubts regarding the second type of biasing? Any doubts? Please let me know. So now I'll move to the third technique. Please take down the diagram. The third technique is biasing using a drain to gate feedback resistor. Biasing using a drain to gate feedback resistor. All of you take down the diagram, circuit diagram. Biasing using a drain to gate feedback resistor. So here you can see a gate resistance RG connected between the drain and gate terminal. So this will act as the feedback, drain to gate feedback resistor. The resistance RG I have connected between drain and gate. You know that this is the gate and this is the drain, and this is your NMOS. Please see the arrow mark at the source terminal, which is away or towards the ground. This shows that it is NMOS. And the space between this here, you're having a space here now. So that space indicates this is a enhancement type MOSFET. So this indicates N channel enhancement MOSFET. And this is a drain resistance. And we are having a gate resistance connected between the drain terminal and the gate terminal. This is called as the feedback resistor, because the input terminal is fed back to the output terminal through a gate resistance RG. That is why RG is called as drain to gate feedback resistor. Now, this is the most simple and effective biasing arrangement that will use a simple feedback resistor, and we don't require any resistance at the source. Okay. Instead of connecting a resistance at the source, what we have done is we have connected a feedback resistor between the drain and gate, that is represented by RG. Now you know that the input gate current is 0, right? Tell me why the gate current is 0, or what manufacturing aspect will lead to the 0 gate current? What manufacturing aspect of the MOSFET will lead 0 gate current? Ramya Priya, 95.
Yes, sir.
Tell me why you are having a 0 gate current.
We are grounding the gates.
No, here we are not grounding the gate. You think about the manufacturing aspect of the MOSFET. Think about the structure. Already I have explained in the previous classes, no, the introduction class. Think about the structure of the MOSFET. In the gate terminal, what do you have? Beneath that gate terminal, what do you have? You are having one layer. What is that?
Silicon dioxide.
Yeah, very good. Silicon dioxide, oxide layer. This is acting as an
Yes.
insulator. Okay. So this will give a high input impedance to the MOSFET, because of which the gate current will be 0 and the drain current is approximately equal to the source current. So whatever the current ID that is drawing out from the supply voltage VDD, that will come through the source as well towards the ground. So this is the typical flow of your current from VDD towards ground. Is that clear, Ramya Priya?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So why the gate current is typically 0 for a MOSFET? Yeah,
For giving a infinite resistance.
because of the infinite resistance offered by the silicon dioxide layer, Ig is approximately 0.
0.
Now, whenever there exists a potential difference between the two terminals, there will be a current, correct? That already you know. That is V is proportional to I. Suppose you have two terminals like this. This is A and this is B. And if you have a high potential difference between A and B like this, then from this battery, will have a current flow, right? This way, from positive to negative. Okay. So if this potential difference is large, then normally the current through this conductor or the current through this terminal AB will be also large, because V is proportional to I. So if there is a high potential difference, then correspondingly the current flow will be also large. Now tell me, here I is 0. Here I, that the gate current is 0, which means the current through RG is 0. Current through RG is 0. Okay. Please note, current through RG is 0 because gate current is 0. Now, what will be the potential difference between the drain and gate? What will be the potential difference between drain and gate? Consider the fact that the current through RG is 0. Consider that the current through the gate resistance RG is 0. Tell me, what will be the potential difference between drain and gate? Just put your answers in the chat box. Share your views. I told you the current through resistance RG is 0. You can see that position of RG. One end of RG is connected with the drain terminal and the other end is connected to the gate terminal. So what will happen? Since the current is 0, what will be the potential difference between the drain voltage and gate voltage? What will be the potential difference between the drain voltage and gate voltage? Yes. Neeta? Yes, Ramya Priya, you're correct. Others, Pramod? Pramod, you tell me what will be the potential difference between drain and gate? Yes, Soumya, good. Yes, Pramod, good. Okay, so the potential difference will be 0. So which means that VD is equal to VG. So whatever the voltage that you are getting at the drain, it will be same at the gate as well. And because of which the potential difference is 0 and the gate current is 0. So the current through RG will be 0. So VD can be equal to VG. So please note down this. VD is equal to VG. The voltage at the drain current will be equal to voltage at the gate terminal. Now, if VG equal to VD, we can say that VGS is equal to VDS. If VG equal to VD, we can say that VGS is equal to VDS because source is common for all, isn't it? Source is grounded. So what do you mean by VGS? VGS is nothing but the voltage across gate and source, or you can say it is voltage across gate and ground. Similarly, VDS is also the voltage across drain and ground. Clear? So the gate to source voltage is equal to drain to source voltage. Okay. Gate to source voltage will be equivalent to, this voltage will be equivalent to drain to source voltage. Why? Because drain is equivalent to gate and source is common for both the sides. Source is common for both the voltages, and since VG equal to VD, now I can write VGS is equal to VDS. I hope you got the point. Any doubts? So what you will write? Since VG equal to VD, you can write VGS is equal to VDS. Now we will have the KVL equation. What is VDS? The equation for VDS at the output loop. The equation for the drain to source voltage after applying KVL to the output loop. So see the diagram and find out the equation. The equation is VDS is equal to VDD minus IDRD. VDS is equal to VDD minus IDRD. So how it came? VDD is your total power supply, isn't it? So from this power supply, you will have a typical voltage across RD. A definite voltage will drop across RD. So the remaining voltage will come across the junction between drain and source. So the drop across RD is IDRD, already you know, according to the Ohm's law, because ID is a current flow through RD. So out of VDD, IDRD is already dropped across the resistance RD. So the remaining voltage can be taken as VDS. So just by using that mathematical equation, you can write VDS as the total supply voltage VDD minus the voltage drop across RD, that is nothing but IDRD. So this is your KVL equation across the output loop. So the equation is VDS is equal to VDD minus IDRD. Any doubts? Rakesh, 91. Vinay Kumar, 121. Meghanashri, 128. Rupendran, 138. Any doubts? Just a second, hold on. VDS is equal to VDD minus IDRD, as I told you. Now, since VDS is equal to VGS, what you will do is, in place of VDS, you can put VGS. In place of VDS, you can put VGS. So now the equation becomes VGS is equal to VDD minus IDRD. Okay. VGS is equal to VDD minus IDRD, because in place of VDS, you will substitute VGS. I told you, whenever there is a feedback resistance connecting between the gate and drain, then VDS will become equal to VGS. So now the KVL equation can be rewritten as VGS is equal to VDD minus IDRD. Now what you will do is, rearranging this equation, VDD, that is a total power supply voltage, VDD is equal to VGS plus IDRD. VDD is equal to VGS plus IDRD. Now, based upon this equation, we will be going to establish that the Q point for this particular circuit is stable. Okay. So VDD is equal to VGS plus IDRD. So based on this equation, we are going to substantiate the Q point is stable for this particular biasing circuit. I hope you have taken down these equations. Any doubts? Now, how to prove that Q point is stable, or there is no change, or there is no variations in the drain current ID, irrespective of the device replacement or irrespective of the temperature variations? How we are going to establish that? So consider that there is an initial increment in the drain current ID because of some reasons. I already listed the reasons. That is either due to the device replacement or due to the temperature variations, ID might have increased. So when ID increases, what will happen? Obviously, IDRD is going to increase. When ID increases, IDRD will increase, isn't it? Now, if you see this equation, VDD is constant. If you see this equation, VDD is constant. So to maintain this constancy, VGS should decrease to an equal amount whatever we have observed in IDRD. Okay. Suppose IDRD may have increased to 3 volt plus 3 volt increment I have observed in IDRD. Then equivalent decrement, that is minus 3 volt, I should see in VGS, so that VDD will become constant. Because VDD is a battery voltage or the supply voltage, whatever you have given for the circuit working, maybe 10 volt or 12 volt, that is fixed. Okay. So when you are finding any change or increment in ID, then IDRD should increase, and correspondingly VGS should decrease, so that VDD will become constant. Now, VGS should decrease. I mean, VGS is decreasing, correct? So when VGS decreases, what will happen? What kind of MOSFET you are analyzing in the circuit? What MOSFET you are using in this particular circuit? Darshan Raj, you tell me what MOSFET you are using in the circuit. Is it NMOS or PMOS? Yes, Nikita, yes. Darshan, are you there or not? Prashant, you tell me what MOSFET you are using in the circuit. Is it NMOS or PMOS? Prashant 88. See, all this you are unnoting, okay? If you're not if you're not unmuting and speaking means I will put that absent, that's all. Even though you mark your attendance, I will not consider your attendance, that's all. Please be active, respond. Yes, Lakshmi Prasanna, it is NMOS, fine. So when it is NMOS, then what voltage you need actually? What gate voltage you need for the NMOS to conduct? For NMOS to conduct, what gate voltage you need? Is it positive or negative? N channel MOSFET. So the gate should be more positive, then only channel will get induced and it should cross a threshold voltage and the conduction will start from drain to source, isn't it? So here, since VGS is decreasing, we can say that the gate voltage is becoming more and more negative, or it is becoming less positive. Then we can say the current conduction through the MOSFET will also decrease. So initially, what will happen? Initially, ID has increased. Okay, I considered ID increased because of some changes in the device or because of some changes in the temperature. Okay, then what happened is when ID increases, IDRD increases. When IDRD increases, what will happen? VGS has to decrease so that VDD will become constant. This decrease in VGS will cause a decrease in ID, which is nothing but a change that is opposite in direction to the one which is originally assumed. Okay, originally our assumption was ID has increased. So now you observed a decrease in ID, which is opposite to the original assumption. Thus, we have observed a negative kind of feedback here or degeneration, which is provided by RG. Okay, so here the degeneration action is done by which resistance? It is done by RG, whereas in the previous case, that is in the second type of biasing, the source resistance is actually playing that role. Okay, whereas here the gate feedback resistance or the gate to drain feedback resistance RG is acting as the degeneration resistance. So please make a note of it. The second biasing circuit, the source resistance RS was acting as the feedback resistance or the degeneration resistance. But here the degeneration resistance is nothing but your gate to drain feedback resistor, that is RG. So RG is controlling that degeneration action here. Thereby ID is not getting disturbed. Okay, so ID is maintained in a constant value. Thereby we can say that the Q point is stable. So it is not drifting from the saturation region to the triode region. You should maintain the Q point in the feasible region, that is the saturation region, so that the proper faithful amplification is taking place there. Correct? Q point is more stable in the saturation region as far as a MOSFET is considered. Don't compare it with BJT. In BJT as an amplifier, you will always bias it in the active region, but here you are going to bias it in the saturation region where the drain current is expected to be constant even though you are trying to change VDS or VGS. So that is a peculiarity of this particular biasing technique. So which resistor is acting as the degeneration resistance? It is nothing but RG, whereas in the previous case it was RS. Another advantage is that here we don't require any potential divider network. Unlike the previous case, I'll show you here we have used RG1, RG2 for setting VGS, correct? Because we need VG, a constant VG here. So for that we have used RG1, RG2, but here we don't require that. So instead of using RG1, RG2 and RS, simply I have connected one RD and RG, that's all. So this is more simple. It is more simple. At the same time, it is effective also. Why it is effective? Because Q point, I made it stable by fixing a proper drain current. Any doubt, students? I hope you are taking down the notes. Don't sit idle. So till now we have discussed three biasing techniques of MOSFET. First one was fixing VGS. Second one was fixing VG and connecting a source resistance. Third one is connecting a drain to gate feedback resistor. Now coming to the fourth type of biasing, which is the most effective scheme of biasing out of the four techniques. This is done by the constant current source. So this biasing technique we will use mostly in designing of integrated circuits. So all IC designs, ICs, this peculiarity of IC, you already know that it will be more complicated circuits. Like many circuits are integrated together under a single silicon chip. So for biasing the IC, we require somewhat complicated and effective schemes, that is by using the constant current source. So this is the fourth biasing technique that we have. Compared to the previous three schemes, this is the most effective scheme of biasing. That is by using a constant current source. By using a constant current source, and this is the most appropriate one that will make use of while designing ICs or biasing IC circuits, integrated circuits. Now take down the circuit diagram. So this is a circuit of biasing using constant current source. So we are having a drain resistance RD and RG like the previous case. The difference is in the previous case, RG is acting as a feedback resistance between the drain and gate, but here RG is connected to ground. Instead of having a feedback between drain and gate, the gate resistance is directly grounded. Okay, one end of the gate resistance is connected to gate and the other is grounded. In the previous case, you have connected RG between the drain and gate, but here you have directly grounded. See, less than 1 minute, this meeting will get end. Please rejoin back with the same link.